All right, welcome back to the Chris Horner Diaries at the Tour de France. It's been a few years, Chris. It's hard to believe. We were just talking that the 2007 Tour was actually the last time you raced the Tour, and we did a daily diary then. Quick recap maybe on the reasons why you haven't been at the Tour the last few years in case anybody's been living in a cave.
Well, a lot of the folks know back home it was first with Astana. We had the problem with the year before when they got kicked out of the Tour de France, and then Johan Bernal's company took over Astana, and of course they, with the same colors on the jersey, the promoters think it's the same team even though it was a completely revamped team, but we ended up missing the Tour that year. Last year we had Lance and Alberto, and each rider wanted their guys there, and so I was odd man out for that, which was unfortunate. I think it would have been a good tour for me, but I'm back again, so let's get it going. It's time to go.
And it's a shame that you missed those years, because even at your age, and you're 38, correct?
38, turning 39.
It's fair to say that the last 2, 3, 4 years have probably been the best form of your entire career. Is that an overstatement?
I think last year and this year has been the best form of my career. So certainly missing last year was hard to take. The year before that, I don't know if much would have changed. I would just be working on the front, and quite possibly the same here this year. But you're going to see me actually on the front more than just trying to survive in the front group.
Now I want to talk about the Tour de France, but since we're just getting caught up and up to speed, let's talk a little bit about your 2010 season. Big win for you. Seems like you really found your space on this team. Looking back the season up to this point, what are the highlights and how do you rate this season?
Absolutely. So far for this year, the highlights have got to be, for me, the win at the Tour of the Basque Country and the win for Yanni at the Dauphiné. Both, for me personally, of course, winning at Dauphiné was fantastic, but the team atmosphere at the Dauphiné right before here was just fantastic. The guys we had there, the chemistry on the team, the amount of suffering everyone was doing to help Yanni win the jersey and then come to the Tour de France and make the Tour de France team after winning there was just an unbelievable feeling. So the last 3 weeks have been really good. Good motivation, good in the head and the body, just leaving Dauphiné and coming to here. Everything's just been a fantastic preparation.
Well, speaking of the Tour de France, you've been out to see the Prologue course.
Yep.
It wasn't raining when you saw it.
Yep.
Tell me about the course and tell me about how this weather is going to affect it.
Normally in the dry, I say it's not a problem. Every corner is really fast, easy to take. Not every corner. 2 or 3 of the corners are difficult, but aside from that, in the dry, every corner is full gas, possibly even in the bars still. You could do a lot of them, if not most of them, in the bars still. Now in the wet, for the guys going off at the beginning, we hope it's going to be dry for me. Still got the fingers crossed for that, but certainly in the wet it's going to change things and it'll slow guys down. And so you've seen a lot of big names that are going to go off early. They tried to play the game of missing the rain, and so some of the guys that are going off early, they played the game wrong and they're going to have to deal with the weather. But hopefully for me, I go off just a little bit after the midway point. Hopefully it's a little bit drier for me, and of course for the bigger guys on our team too that are leaving late.
That's going to be my next question. I mean, for those that don't ride time trials very often, is it in fact true that you can go out an hour after it's rained and it can be dry or drier enough that it makes a difference? I mean, you'd think once it's rained, it's wet.
No, not at all. You could go out, it could stop raining. Today's not a great example of it because it hasn't happened, but it could stop raining and be dry 10 minutes later. There's no problem. That's a possibility. I've been in many places, especially down south in America and stuff where it's humid, really hot and humid. When it stops raining, it could dry up 10 minutes later. I've seen that many times. In Bend, Oregon, where I live, if it stops raining, it dries up in 10, 15 minutes. So it's a possibility, but we're looking at, well, with our interview time right now, we're looking at guys getting ready to go off right now. So some guys are going off in the wet. Hopefully it dries up.
All right, Chris, just one last question. It's been a crazy week leading up to the Tour. We were talking earlier about what it's like waiting for the Tour de France to start. Obviously, you're here with the biggest name in the race, name in the papers today all over the place. What is the feeling within the team as the race starts?
Well, the feeling within the team is pretty simple. The stuff going on in the papers today is stuff that the team has dealt with already in California. So it hasn't changed anything for me. I haven't seen any changes in the bus, no changes in the team chemistry, nothing. Nobody's stressing out more about anything. So it's business as usual. The team's already dealt with those issues, and they don't need to deal with them anymore. So we're ready to go, and everybody's ready to take the Prologue by storm, and hopefully we come out here with a good win.
You know, as I often do, I lied. That wasn't my last question. I would be remiss if I didn't ask. If I didn't ask, because so many, when I announced that we were doing these Horner Diaries, so many people started emailing me and hitting me on Twitter and asking if there's any possibility that you will have a chance to ride for a stage win this year. I mean, I know that in the past, teams that have been built around Armstrong, everybody's ridden for Armstrong. Armstrong said, hey, maybe I'm not the leader of this team. Levi's going good. I mean, it's early in the race, but do you see that as a possibility of you maybe sneaking away and trying to win a stage?
Certainly today, no. After the next 3 days, if something catastrophic should happen, all of the plans could change altogether. The next 3 days are really crucial days. They're going to change the outcome of the race. Teams could leave after the third stage. Teams could start the fourth stage with only 4 or 5 guys from what stage 3 could do to their teams. I mean, stage 3 could impact a team severely with how dangerous that stage is. So anything can happen, but at this moment, we got one leader on the team. We got other guys that, of course, are going to have a little freedom this week to look after themselves. But when we get in the mountain, we have one guy to look after, unless Lance's form changes. I'm coming into this race to help Lance win the Tour de France. That's my motivation. That's what I've been focusing on. I hope he has that form to do it, and I don't have any objectives of going for any stage wins if he has that form. And so stay calm the first week, hopefully avoid the crashes in these first 3 days, and get out of the east, get into the mountains, and hopefully we have a spectacular Lance Armstrong.
There you go. Well, if Chris Horner doesn't lay down on blistering time in the Prologue today, if he's not taking big risks in the turns, you heard it here first. You know why. All right, Chris, thanks so much for your time. Have a safe ride out there, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks. Stay tuned.